I think that learning to groove is a really important thing, and I think that a lot of times just learning to play with other people and learning to improvise and make stuff up is left way too late in the journey. I read a thing recently where someone was saying they'd been playing for 10 months, which is, not a lot of time. They'd learned some songs, but they were unable to improvise or jam along to a drum track, unable to come up with a groove, which is a shame to feel like that. Only being able to play other people's songs, which actually was the complete opposite of my experience, where I was able to make up all sorts of stuff quite quickly, but I found it quite difficult to learn other people's songs. So I guess I'm unusual in that respect, and I think that my experience in being able to improvise and has kind of led me down a certain path where I've kind of prioritized groove, time, sound, etc. over notes. I've prioritized good taste, not overplaying. It's a real backbone of what I'm about as a musician, at least as a bass player. But yeah, today I just wanted to kind of give some ideas on how people can improvise, can create their own bass lines over a drum track, and you already know enough theory, you already know enough notes to be able to do this. And I'm not anti-theory, but I am anti-theory too early. I'm anti-theory when it slows people down from enjoying the instrument and from creating music. I'm reading a really good book at the moment about improvisation that I'll talk about in another video, but essentially like not separating the practice from the play, from the real thing. Creating music, whether you record it or not, is a wonderful thing. So that being said, if you can play one note on the bass, you can groove. I'm using Logic for this. I've just programmed a drum loop in, and the kind of important part is understanding, like this is the only bit of theory, is understanding the one and the beginning of a kind of bar of music, understanding that the first note is the important note. Bootsy Collins, there's a famous quote of Bootsy Collins, just like, you can do anything you like as long as you come back on the one. And it kind of, that's kind of true, and I'll possibly show a little bit of that. So the idea is, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and if you just play that, exactly like that, we'll just play this note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. That's a groove. If you can do that, you can do anything else that I'm about to show you. So the idea is that we'll get more complicated as we go along. We'll add more things in, but for now I'm just going to focus on playing just the one, and I'm going to play it so that you get an idea of what it sounds like, if the concept is alien to you. So I'm going to start the track and then just play the one. Simple. The one, right? I think that anyone can do that, and doing that for 5 minutes, just that on its own, is really hard. Like set a timer and just do 5 minutes and really focus on where the one is. Like, to start with, you just want to try and get close to it. But as you get better at this and you do it more and more, varying where you are on the one, being right on top of it or slightly behind it, that's kind of the aim. So let's make it a little bit more complicated than that. So just playing the same note, and it doesn't matter what note you pick. I'm playing an E, but any note is fine, just whichever one your fingers lands on. So we'll make it slightly more complicated. The one is the most important thing. Anything else we do is kind of an aside, but I'm just going to play that one note. So all I did, I just added an extra note. So it's 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. So, you could groove. Like if you knew someone who was a drummer and knew someone who was a guitarist, the drummer starts laying down his beat, you start playing your groove on one note, and your guitarist friend, she's like, oh, what note you playing? E. Right, she knows the E chord, or like she might know loads of music and just jams on top of that. So that's it. Like if you can do that, you're grooving. And I think that you could do that from day one. You might not be in time, it might not sound great, but you can definitely do it. And with a little bit of practice, 5 minutes a day, actually 5 minutes, you'll get good pretty quick. So now I want to show how we don't need theory in this instance where we're just grooving to a drum track. How theory isn't particularly important to us, and I think that creating your own stuff and hearing what you like and you don't like, and that experience is really, really important. So like later on when you're learning other people's music, like learn the music that you like listening to. If you're into jazz and you like listening to John Coltrane, learn John Coltrane licks. Don't go and learn, I don't know, some heavy metal that you don't ever listen to, and vice versa. I think there's a lot of emphasis on like learning stuff that because it's the stuff you're supposed to learn, and I don't really hold with that. I think that people should, if you feel that you want to broaden your horizons, then you need to do that with your ears first, and the language comes from listening to the music and liking the music and that sort of thing. So anyway, this next exercise is something that I do a lot. A slightly more complicated version. I think I first got this from Scott Devine like years and years ago, where he's like it was more about jamming on like one note, and then just playing like crazy fills and trying to get back to it. This version it's like the same sort of thing, using the same note that we've just played, playing the one, but then just playing any other note anywhere and then coming back to the one. So I'll keep it simple to start with, but I just think this is a really interesting demonstration of how the note at this stage isn't important, and how you can build experience, and yeah, let's go. So that wasn't the most easy version of that, but like, you saw I just played any note on the neck, no theory involved. If someone else was playing along with me, they might have sounded wrong. If I had like a pad going or keyboard going, they might have sounded wrong notes. But for this experience, learning to hear things and go, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Like some of the notes you'll just find just sound good. Sounds all right. That sounds really good. That one sounds really good. So does that. So there's like just notes around your root note that will sound good to your ears, to your experience, to the music that you've listened to. Because like you've been conditioned, and most of us have listened to Western music, pop music. For the most part, the same notes are going to sound good. And like when you come to learn theory, you'll understand why. But for now, just the bass is a really great instrument for this because the patterns exist. So you know that if you play your root note and you play the one above it, the string above the same fret, it's going to sound like that. If you play, root note and then this one, it's going to sound like that. So you get to feel patterns, you get to hear it, you get a connection between your ear and your hand and your groove, and you're building skill through experience, not through kind of book learning or that sort of thing. So the next kind of thing that I think you could do is play any other two notes. And yeah, so just any two notes. So let's see what it sounds like. So the important thing is just getting back to the one. If it's too hard, slow it down. But this is a sort of, building blocks. And I think that you can add these things on as you go. If you do your 5 minutes of this a day, I guarantee you're going to get better and you'll be adding in, all sorts of things. So yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Play the root note on the one, play some other notes, come back to the one, and like just feel it, just enjoy it. Understand that there are literally no wrong notes. In this instance, I'd say that hitting the same note on the one is kind of important. That's the basis of it. And like in funk music, like most funk music for a lot of the time will sit on one chord. So, playing one note on the one is really appropriate for funk. So yeah, I hope that's been of some help. I hope that if you're a beginner who knows a load of songs or doesn't know anything but is wondering how to start making music, improvising, making stuff up on the spot, getting to grips with it, hearing what sounds good to you, building your experience, then hopefully this is a kind of starter on your journey. If you've enjoyed yourself, hit like, subscribe, all the other YouTube things that everyone tells you to do and you probably don't. I'll see you in the next one.